everyone, and welcome to the Town Board regular meeting for September 26th, 2017. Please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we begin, I would like to ask for a moment of silence for all the victims of the earthquake in Brazil and for all those struggling in Puerto Rico this week. Please know that our hearts are with you as you go through this challenging time. Thank you.
Councilperson Wilshire?
Present.
Councilperson, excuse me. Feldman. My brain is
Yeah, I'm here.
And Supervisor Levenberg.
Here.
We begin this evening with a special presentation.
And I will do a little bit more of an introduction, but not much because we're going to let you guys tell your own story. We actually have two special presentations this evening before we get into the body of our meeting. Our first is from Dennis and Julie Roach of Burbio. Burbio is a free online calendar service and more that the town has been using for over a year. And Dennis and Julie are here to tell us how we can get even more out of the platform, and they are going to talk to us about hopefully some examples of other municipalities they've been working with in Westchester that have increased their use of Burbio to the benefit of the entire community. So we've spoken to them a little bit about it, and we asked if they would come and present to us with a special presentation so the board could have a better idea and understanding of what is available to us and how we can optimize our use of Burbio. And without further ado, I will introduce Dennis and Julie. And I think I'm going to step to the side because you're going to want to put my head in it. So.
Okay.
All right.
So, is this okay that we talk from here?
No, you're going to have to use the
Oh,
microphone.
I gotta use the microphone.
Yeah, because otherwise the TV
Great. Thank you for having us. So Julie and I are actually 20-year residents of Westchester, parents of 4 kids, and have been heavily involved in sort of media and marketing. And a few years ago, we started talking about how our digital lives had changed so much in the last 20 years. You could connect with friends on LinkedIn or Facebook. You could book a table on a restaurant. Yeah.
I mean, I'm very happy that we have people here tonight in your office
Okay.
who are also listening in, but just because it's our meeting, it would be great if you just direct your comments to the board.
Oh, okay, great. Didn't know. So we, everything had gotten so much, in many ways, organizing information has gotten a lot easier over the last 20 years. Julie and I took GPS to get up here. You can book a table online. You can book flights online. And event organization was very much out of sort of almost like the internet had just been invented. So Julie actually leads our technology, and she built Burbio, which pulls in event information from all over the internet, and we go into a town and we put all the public information in one place, and we allow residents to be able to use it. And Ossining started working with us. We worked with you guys with a community calendar a little over a year ago as we were getting started, and we've introduced a couple of new innovations. And now recently we've been adopted by the City of Yonkers and the City of Stamford, not just as a sort of a neat tool for parents, but really as a community building and as an economic development tool for the city. So we're here to talk about the idea that Ossining, with a little tweak, it's a free service, could actually take the next step and really use this as a regional tool to build community for everyone. So I wanted to have, Julie's going to drive the computer. I'll show you how Burbio works. This is Ossining High School's calendar, Ossining School District calendar. And that has a Google Calendar on it. And we pull information in from this calendar into Burbio. And whenever anything changes here, it changes on Burbio. And this goes for the library calendar, goes for the school sports. We can do it with Facebook feeds. We can do it with any sort of calendar. There's little things called calendar feeds that Julie is a real student of that we do, and we pull this information in. So that's how we get our information. We pull it in, and then no one has to do a second entry again. They just continue to enter the information in where they normally do, and it talks through Burbio. So it's free, and it's highly automated and doesn't require any extra work. And I'll show you how Burbio works. We have a free website and an iOS app, and in about 3 weeks we're going to have an Android app. And to join Burbio, all you do is put your name and your zip code and your email. That's it. We just need to know where you live so we can make the experience customized. So Julie will go in. When you log into Burbio, if you log in with an Ossining zip code, we've already started building out. We've gotten quite far. We have built out dozens of groups and school districts and sports, actually, from the city, from the town. And what happens is when people go into Burbio, they click on follow. So when we built Burbio, we had to get through two sort of big issues. One was how to pull in the information, and the technology that we built is actually really kind of world-class, actually. And the second was how to deliver it so that people could organize it. We've all been to event websites that kind of look like, after the excitement of seeing all the events, you kind of feel like someone sort of vomited on your computer and you don't know what to do with all the events you see. So we spent a lot of time trying to say, how are we going to make this information more understandable? So we landed on this idea that residents can follow a calendar. So you're going to click on one. It's a little, it's going to take some time. So you click on a calendar. So basically it allows you to follow calendars. And when you just click on one or two more, and then it creates what's called an event feed. And so that'll create a series of events similar to, let me just finish and view the feed, Julie, because this will, yeah. Okay. So just go to finish and view feed. So that'll take a second to download. But basically we have events, and what happens is residents can put the events on their digital calendar, and everything changes when it gets automated. So this is an example of an easy event feed. Someone is following the school calendar as well as an event. We email this to people twice a week. People can opt out of anything we send. We don't sell the information. We just customize the experience. And so the opportunity for Ossining, and we've worked with you to create a community calendar. The opportunity Ossining for what Yonkers and Stanford did is they basically said to the nonprofit community, they started with the nonprofit community, they said, listen, let's just be a little bit more proactive about adopting this service, and also tell your supporters that it exists. And that allows us to grow the service. Actually, I want to include two other things. One, all of our events are now on Amazon Alexa, which is that device that you can talk to. So you can say to Alexa, what's happening in Ossining, and it talks back. That feed thing up here, we call it, you can actually link it. So you have a device, you can turn to it and say, Alexa, what's happening on my Burbio feed today? So all the information is on Alexa. The next thing, and that's new, that's in the last few months. The other thing that's really important here is all of our events are structured, this is a term, to be discovered in Google search. So when you think about search now, you can ask questions. You can say, like, how old is this person, or what's the temperature in Cleveland, and answers come up, searches, and they call that intelligent. Well, in events, it isn't actually that much more intelligent. When you search for events at things, you end up clicking on websites and going to pages with pictures. It feels a lot like it did 10 years ago. Google announced an initiative in May, and we were in it with some very big companies like Ticketmaster and StubHub and companies you would have heard of, as being a company they were going to pull our event data from. So the digital expression is SEO, search engine optimization. We instantly will make all the arts community, entire arts community, more easily discoverable. What does that mean? That means any group. And what that means is that anybody who's nearby says, what's going on near me, what's going on in Ossining, it's more easily discovered. So it allows people to find things going on in Ossining, the town of Ossining. So, and that's really like, it's hard to explain that because, frankly, up until we started doing Burbio, we didn't realize the power of search. Companies spend $60 billion a year making it so that they show up and search properly, and this is like free as part of it. So, honestly, I'll give you, Yonkers, the Business Council of Westchester, Marsha Gordon walked us into Yonkers because they're the biggest city. And she said, let's go in and really see if someone could sort of embrace it and proactively, because we were working with some towns like Ossining, and we do with you guys a couple other places. And very simply what they did is they said, and they wanted to reach millennials, actually. And this is a great product for that. So really the simple next step would be to email, to put us together proactively with your nonprofit community, and basically we will make sure their data is really right, because in a couple of cases we're like manually checking, and we do some things with them, with groups, to make it so that it's a little more seamless. A lot of groups have Facebook pages, and they're not, if Facebook has an events function, but some of them are just putting flyers up, which doesn't, so we say, why don't you make that an event, and then it'll talk to us too. So we do little things. So I want to say, how many groups do we have in Stanford and Yonkers, would you say? Okay, so I'm going to say it's between 50 and 60. And in all but one or two cases, it's automated. And we've got, rowing clubs and women. We've got clubs that don't do a lot of digital sort of big websites. So our thinking is that for the most part, and we've actually already worked with, what's the gentleman's name in town, Henry, is it? So with your arts community. So, and then what happens is they turn around and tell people that the service exists, and you're able to use the service. We don't replace anything that anyone's already doing. If you're sending out emails or your websites, there's links back to your websites from this. We don't want anyone contacting us about any questions. Like, that's the last thing we want, because we have millions of events. So, yeah, exactly. Well, it just gets to the point. So the idea would be, we're Yonkers and Stanford already now out. We did press conferences with their mayors, and it was kind of a nice thing. And obviously, Ossining is one of our bigger existing sort of partners at its current level. So the idea is that with the next step, we can we can really make the service more widely used in the community, completely accurate, completely automated, and really start using it as a business, as a tool for all the elements that I've been talking about. Is there anything else that you would add? Yeah, we'll just go to this. The web is a little slow here. You want to just go 10701, Julie? Go to Browse Local Calendars. Yeah. That's going to. No, it looks like Ossining. It just got everything. They have 72 schools that are up.
So the idea is that we do an outreach to all of our community groups, our Chamber of Commerce, our restaurants having events, our...
So I'll talk about the, why don't you dial up Yonkers? So, yes, all not-for-profit. So we have a business product, and it is $20 a month for as many events as they want on Burbio. We actually have, I guess I'm on video here, but I'll say it, Harbor Point, which is in Stanford. They have 150 people following their calendar. They're paying us $20 a month, that's all. Like, they get these emails updated. So any business can put their events up and not only be on Burbio and Ossining, but also that whole search thing that I was talking about. And we do discounts, and like if we can figure out a way to partner. So that's our business model, is if a restaurant wants to put stuff up, they can do it.
You're looking for the non-for-profit.
Yes. Non-for-profits is free.
I have a question.
Yep.
Would you be interested in going to meet with the
Absolutely.
Chamber
Yes,
of Commerce
yes,
to talk to the
yes.
businesses?
Yes, absolutely.
Maybe that's,
I'm sure they would love to.
Absolutely.
but maybe we need to connect them so
Yes.
that they can come.
Absolutely.
They have lots of.
And our whole concept here, the digital expression, as you guys, is a platform, right? We want to make it easy and seamless. So our business product you can do by just dropping in your Facebook events, and bang, it's easy. So yes, we would love to be able to do that. It's not a gating factor. You don't want to give it and make it a little, but it's the kind of thing where we hope to be building essentially an event platform for small businesses. And what's different for them, and I don't want to, you can't necessarily bet this now, is like, it's what I'm talking about, $20 a month, and they could literally put every night's restaurant specials on Burbio if they wanted to. So it's like tons of events. And as I said earlier, we would do a discount, sort of a promotional program with the local. So
My question is for us, how do we, because we have this, right? But, so what is the suggestion for pushing out this information so that our community members know? Because I have to tell you, I have friends who make Facebook posts that say, what's happening in Oxford tonight? So
it's actually,
they're looking for the information, and they're just not necessarily, and yet they're not,
it is not intuitive for them to go to the town or the village website to see what the thing is that's going on, right? That's not their thought process is that's not where the information is going to be. So this is where the information
Yeah, so we figured out a formula, and we'll refine it a little bit, and you've already sort of been a part of our, we've come a long way, and it was a very simple thing. It's that compounding of the groups telling their supporters. We had 30 people from Stanford join in the last 3 days. They're just wandering in now.
the library sends out an email to every person on their library subscription, hey, there's this great new service, called Burbio. You can get the library information and everything else going on in the community. And then the JCC sends it out, and then the different churches send it out, and then the school sends something out, and so finally you're on, 3 different mailing lists, and you see it 3 times, you're like, wow, this thing is the real deal. And you sign up, and then you get everything, and then like you said, then we push these emails out based on what people choose to get. And then they're getting that information on a regular basis, and then it just gets cemented then.
And we recognize the school district doesn't report into this body, so we will work with the schools separately. But yes, that's exactly as Julie said. And then,
You're already grabbing that information from the school.
absolutely, yeah, we already have.
What I'm talking about,
Yeah.
to get people to understand that they do that.
And we do with a number of. And listen, when you get into the math, when you get into the math, when you get into the effectiveness of it, a dedicated email, occasionally, from say if you have a mailing list, will help. We've had people say, "Oh, we're going to put you on our big mailing list," and it's like the 29th thing down, and we're like, "No one, you got a 5% open rate," and no one. So if the town said, because we're going to be, so the steps would be that if an email went out to the nonprofits, we would clean it up, and it would take at most 2 weeks. We would, we have some of these folks we're already working with. We'd get all the rest of them to make sure it's tight, and they would start turning it around. And so you could send an email out introducing it from the town.
A dedicated
Yeah.
email that doesn't have 58 things on it is what we're saying.
Yeah, or at least the first thing once in a while. So I'm sort of like getting into it because part of it is we're on some emails and there's from some other communities and it's got like.
That's what I'm saying is how do you get the information to people so that they actually see it, and notice it.
Absolutely. And so you do that, and it's funny because we love all our partners, but we have one partner who wanted to solve this problem, but their email that they send out has like 75 events, and they put us at the bottom. And it's like, if you put us at the top once in a while, the 75 events are in our service. So this is what Yonkers looks like. It looks a lot like basically Ossining, honestly.
A lot of schools.
A lot of schools.
But they're the Hudson River Museum's got a couple different calendars up, and then Yonkers downtown, some for arts groups, the police department, so same thing.
And what
I'm interested in something. Wait. Ride Playland is on there.
Yeah. So what we do with certain groups, and we would do it potentially is we will tag a group. If it's regional, it'll be put into multiple zip codes. We can't do it too often. Countywide.
Countywide organizations. Well, yeah, no, I'm saying, but like, so there are there's some Ossining things that could be showing up in other towns. No, but I'm also interested about region, the county center, Playland, Westchester Children's Museum.
Yep.
Those are regional things. Yep. So we have the ability maybe to pull that in. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So when I signed up, I had a lot of choices to click on what I wanted to get information about. So I no longer need the soccer schedule because my kids are not playing soccer anymore. So I did not click on that. I did click on the high school football schedule. But, all the ones that I clicked on, they send me an email every week, and at least it helps me get to some of the stuff I would have forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really, I actually, one of our real estate agents shared it on Facebook and said, click here, and she posts her calendar of things going on every once in a while. I'm like, right, I got to check that.
Yep. So I do think that the PR, and we're a social platform that's obviously hyper-local to your community in a way that's different than what Facebook and Twitter do. But including it sort of in a regular communication to your residents is a way to sort of make it an embedded part of. We're at a great point. We're not done adding new innovations and improvements. It's always going to be based on the idea that it's free for nonprofits, it's free for communities, because that sort of drives the whole Other questions? So, we're certainly ready to go on this as soon as you guys want to. I think the only other thing is getting it out in advance of the holidays will allow us to really have a bigger user base, which I think we'll be able to maybe do some fun things with holiday events and things like that for your community that we want to. So, all right.
Thank you so much for that presentation. And I just turn off the projector. Thank you. I do have a long working list of organizations, which I'm happy to circulate to the board for you to add any ones that you think. And then I will say that I was recently at a meeting where we were hearing again about the arts organizations and wanting, so many things going on. There's this jazz concert this place and that at that place, and, couldn't we have one place to look? And one of the things over the years that I think has been so challenging about having a community calendar is the need for people to input the information into this other calendar. The beauty, I think, of this is that it's grabbing it from these already existing calendars. The only challenge is that the input information from each of those organizations has to be in a format that's grabbable. So if, in fact, you guys do some of the legwork on making sure that organizations transition so that they're really putting that information into a grabbable format, including us, I think, because I think most of our stuff probably isn't as grabbable as it could be, we will all benefit because, again, it's much easier than for people to look for and search for what they want to learn about and to get the information that they want. So I think it's a great platform. The fact that it's free makes it just that much greater. The fact that you guys started in Westchester to begin with and that you really have the sensibility of what it is that parents, community members are looking for, I just really appreciate it. I do think that we have to do a better job of getting the word out so people can really take full advantage of it, because that's going to, as you say, benefit everybody from an economic development point of view, as well as just from a managing your stuff kind of point of view. So I think that it's great, and I'm hopeful that I feel like I'm getting a sense from the board that you're already using it. Feel like
I have one question.
Yeah.
Do you have a worksheet or a kind of step-by-step instructions to give to these not-for-profits on how to be grabbable?
So what?
And how to get their calendars?
They're going to meet with them.
Okay.
But they said they contact them.
Yeah, we do it. What we would recommend is that you send out an email to the groups and essentially say, email Julie.
Okay.
And then we'll get them set up. So we just...
But they have to be active versus we can't say you'll email them as long as it's okay with
We'll
you.
email them too. Yeah.
Yeah, because, I mean, again, oh, God, another thing I have to do.
No,
this is another thing that somebody has to do versus we're going to help you.
We will reach it. So in Stanford and Yonkers, it was probably about 50-50. The email went out. Half the groups contacted us, and the other half we chased down.
Right.
And
presumably there's a lot more in Yonkers, although we have, we are the volunteer-spirited town, so we have a lot.
So we absolutely outreach. We
have
a lot of groups.
Excellent. That's great. Yeah. I think I was reading this while I was talking to you last time, so
awesome.
It's already pretty long, and I'm sure I left off at least half more and twice as many
But
more.
our whole incentive is to make it easy, and we will outreach to people. So, right.
Maybe we can talk offline because I have some ideas on how to outreach to the community. That would be great.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here and I'm thinking of things that you wouldn't normally think of, like bunches of groups, CCD groups, all parents who want information, all of our daycares, all young parents who want to know information. Millennials will find it, generally. If you push out, they'll figure, you know what I mean? But we have some
seniors, retirees looking for a concert or something to go to, art programs.
We're very much online.
And I will say, we talked a lot about the arts community, but if you're a single parent or if you're a working parent, I mean, I was a working parent, and this was so frustrating to me to figure out, because it was so, I couldn't figure out what's going on in our kids' schools. And so this becomes a real value add for people who are trying to just stay on top of their children's lives, too, on the school side of things.
All right. Well, fantastic. Thank you so much for your presentation. We very much appreciate you coming out tonight.
Thank you.
All right. So next up, we have another special presentation from, I think we're hearing from Tom Earl from the Ossian Boat and Canoe Club. Are you solo, or are you going to be with Susan? And Gary? Okay. Okay, so we have a few other folks who are, okay, to review a proposal that they have submitted for the board's consideration that includes re-siding the club building, which is the building that abuts Engle Park and is a town-owned building with, we have a license agreement, sorry, with the Boat and Canoe Club for how many years? We have 5 years, I believe?
I think it's 2021 off the top of my head.
Right, so we recently entered into an agreement.
Yeah, it went into effect the beginning of this year.
That went into effect at the beginning of this year. That goes until 2021. And there's some fixes that they are proposing, and we're going to hear more about those now. Should I move again? I'm going to move to the side here.
Yep, that's it.
Thank you. Turn the light off, too.
Oh, yeah, not good.
I pull this over here.
Yeah, no.
Good evening, Supervisor Levenberg and council members. Thank you very much for making time tonight just for me to come and speak to you. I do appreciate it. We want to talk about the siding on the boat club. It's very old, very faded. We think it's the original siding that was put on almost 100, but maybe 90 years ago. And it's been in very poor condition for a long time. I know we've all agreed on that. And just the only question is what to do about it. And we want to work with the town to figure out a permanent fix for this. But right now, if I could just go to the next slide. And just to look at the poor condition of this building, and we cannot keep presenting this facade to the public. It's shameful, and we need to get this changed. We can't keep it's faded, it's discolored, it's thin, it's cracking, the shingles are falling down. If you look at how many of them are broken and falling down, it's really in bad condition. And like I said, we want to work with the town for a permanent solution. But we just felt that we can't let this be seen anymore. We have people coming into Ossining now for the first time, and that's what they see. So if you look at this close-up, you'll see that the original siding was doubled up, alternating wide and narrow rows. They used more material, but it's a nicer look. And also, if you look above the window, there's that heavy line. That's a double row. That's a double course, and that breaks up the monotony of the shingles, of the pattern. And on the corners, where most houses would have 3x3, let's say, or a strip of wood, this house has wraparound alternating lap corners. A close-up of that, you'll see that every other course is overlapped, left to right, right to left, left to right. And this picture was taken on the west side of the building. And this picture was taken on the north side of the building. And you can see that in order to accomplish this, there's some carpentry, actually hand carpentry that's involved. And if you look at the large shingle down at the bottom there, you'll see that it's not only on an angle, but it's curved. So this is hand carpentry, very carefully crafted. And we have a number of people in the club who are highly qualified, very skilled volunteers. And we want the public to know that this is their building and it's being cared for with the utmost respect. The value of skilled volunteers must not be underestimated. We invite all of Ossining to the river to enjoy our many public events. Membership implies responsibility, not exclusivity. Whether we're doing educational research, educational outreach with Ossining schools, boater safety classes, or just helping boaters, OBCC continues to serve the public as a part of Ossining's Parks and Recreation program. We keep fees artificially low in order to provide affordable access to the river for all. OBCC is a not-for-profit corporation that operates at no cost to the taxpayers and is a unique asset that Ossining is lucky to have. So we really just want to do a temporary fix on this, and in order to bring up the appearance of this building. It's a beautiful historic building. It's only cosmetic and protective, not structural. So it's...
What do you mean by temporary?
Well, I'm saying that we're not precluding anything that the town might want to do with this building as far as appearance. But what I showed before is, I mean, to me is not acceptable. If you look at how broken down that is, up above those windows. Somebody said, you know, why don't we just replace the broken ones? Well, they're all broken.
Right. So what are you replacing it with? Is it the same type of shingle?
Yes, I'm sorry, yes, I meant to say that. This is a direct in-kind replacement. So what is on there now is South Carolina cedar. We would replace it with South Carolina cedar.
Is South Carolina cedar lighter in its natural state, or you said this is faded? Is it darker? Is it lighter?
This has been stained.
I see.
It was stained over the years with stain.
With stain.
Well, paint is on the surface. Stain goes into the wood.
Right.
So stain is a more protective thing for cedar.
So what does South Carolina cedar look when it's new?
Oh.
Is my point. Is my question. Something happens. Hey, I love it.
Glad you asked that question.
I'm glad I did too. Oh.
And that's stained or not stained?
That's-
Not stained.
That's raw.
So
And
will it be stained?
It needs
yes,
to be protected.
it needs to be stained.
Well, how many coats of stain?
One.
And does
So
it
it
have
could
to
be
be
a
brown?
lot. It could be a lot
No.
lighter than that.
When you see
Is it
when you
gutter?
see when you see
Well, it wouldn't match the other three sides for now.
when you see Cape Cod houses or whatever, and they also have cedar shingles, and they're not stained, or they are stained.
They're stained with a nat or a clear stain.
and then they fade over time or whatever.
What happens when you do clear is that it discolors unevenly, so you get a kind of black and white look, which is uneven.
I did have a conversation with somebody who indicated that they had taken a look at some of the stuff that, I mean, obviously this is what it looked like before you removed the shingles and started the work on it. And we know that, unfortunately, that work was started without, you know, coming before the town to get our approval. And that's why we're here today, is to try to figure out how we can move forward together instead of separately. But somebody who has some experience also in restoration, architecture, and knows a lot about these old buildings, and is a member of the Boat Canoe Club, talk to me a little bit about what their discovery had been, and it was that they don't believe that this was actually the original surface, that there might have been something else, either that was pitch colored, so it might have originally been black. It's possible that even before that it was whitewashed with lime or something along those lines. So it seemed that there might have been some other things that preceded the brown color. And because this is the gateway to our community and the first thing that everybody sees, I'm not sure that this is necessarily the most eye-appealing of all the colors that you could pick from the rainbow. And you may not be able to pick all colors from the rainbow, but you may be able to find a color that is more appealing to the greater public, that lends itself to a welcoming environment to our river. So knowing that there are other colors possible, but also knowing that we are all cognizant that there are costs involved, it seems that what would make the most sense would be for us to sit down together and have a conversation with some additional input from some restoration architects, and maybe again with some members of the Historic Preservation Commission. I heard that you had met with them. I don't know. I've heard,
Not recently.
Not recently. And to actually get some input as to what might be a solution to this problem that could be both more eye-appealing and also not so costly down the road that it's going to be cost-prohibitive. And it may come down to that the town does want to kick in a couple bucks also to make this more appealing, because this is our building, and it behooves all of us for it to be welcoming to those newcomers as well as our tried and true, steady Austinites from way back when.
I just want to add something here. That shingle, you can match that up to any color.
Yes.
Because I know a stain, if you put one coat on, it's too light. You put another one on, it darkens up.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
It's not
So,
like,
right. I mean, but the thing was, my understanding is that they were trying to match this because they were just doing the front and not doing all sides of it, correct?
Right.
Right, this is a repair as opposed to doing the whole building.
Right. But unfortunately, when you do things in stages, if you repair the whole front, you're not going to suddenly want to, redo it again in a couple of years if you've done a nice job and you invested the money. So it seems like you have to consider how you would do it in stages if that's the way to go, or potentially find a way to finance the entire building getting redone at the same time so that you have a fix that is
more or less permanent.
right.
Well, and the other thing is, I mean, it may not be the most horrible idea to have the front, as long as it's the entire front, not pieces of the front, to have the front be maybe a slightly lighter color, even if the other three sides are not, because the other three sides are not necessarily, I mean...
Well, they weren't as bad a shape as this either.
Right, but it may or may not be a terrible idea. I'm not saying I know which, really, to have the front be a lighter, or whatever the aesthetically pleasing color that everybody kind of comes to, rather than this very dark brown kind of color, even if the other three sides are, you're saying the issue is the wraparound? By showing me that picture, I'm assuming.
Well, I'm showing you that in different light, it can look very different. This isn't the dark...
I'm down there a lot. It looks brown.
So, what
Am I wrong?
would like, if I may, to respond to Dana's comment. First of all, yes, we did do some discovery on the front to see we didn't know what was under there. And as far as what was historically there and what was originally there and so forth, what we found underneath this was some what appears to be hardwood strake, or it looks like clapboard almost, but it's not painted. It was never painted. And on top of that was black tar paper. So you may have seen a picture of black tar paper. And on top of that were the shingles. So I have seen historical pictures. Dana White has some very early photos with this very siding on it from the probably the early 30s. So it was a very early.
Built in 18.
It was built in 1921 and 2. 1921 and 2, and very shortly thereafter got this cedar on it.
But it didn't have that at the very, very, very
The very beginning, it may have had clapboard on the backs on the riverside, because I've seen clapboard back there, but this did not. So it wasn't consistent. It's almost like they did it in stages. But this is only to get rid of that miserable look that it has, and not
And do you have a
intended
picture
to.
of what the work that you've done so far? Because didn't you start?
Well, I
putting up-
do, as long as you brought it up.
And it does look lighter, because I drove by and half of it was light. And
Yeah, well,
half
those
of
were
it
the
was dark.
original clapboard pieces, right?
On the top.
Right.
That's the light part that you. And doesn't that look nice?
Yeah, I was
Yeah, I
like,
was like, oh, that looks so nice.
Now, how can we show these to a camera so that, can we hold them like
So why don't
tonight?
you pass them around first, and then we'll
Pass
give
them
them,
around.
ask Tom where to put them so we can look at them.
Okay. They want to pass it around.
that's not what I've seen there.
Okay, so left side is the old side, the right side is the new side.
Yeah, they pulled more off. Well, that's more than that. I mean, this was before you pulled more off of the old shingles that were off, right? Not just this piece that's here, there's more.
Yes.
Yeah,
And this is what?
and this is new at the bottom, or those are the new ones?
Yes.
Those are the ones that you already started replacing.
We apologize for having jumped the gun a little bit, and it was not something that it was just, we messed up, and I'm sorry. So I hope we can go forward.
We appreciate that your apologies are accepted. However, moving forward, we feel, at least I feel, and I believe that the board is in agreement with this, that we need to be all on the same page before more work is done.
We will.
And again, hopefully we can come to an amicable solution to this, because I think we all agree that we want it to be a premier feature of our waterfront. And that's what we were all working for with the license agreement, that you guys are going to be taking excellent care of it. And as you have been for many, many, many years, before it was the towns, and that, but we're all part and parcel as part of the larger community to figuring out how to make it look as great as it can.
So what are your thoughts on?
As I said, we're going to set up a meeting. I'd like to sit down with, my suggestion is to actually meet with Kaya and Ken, and have, and Dana, and anybody else from the Historic Preservation Commission as well, to talk a little bit more about the history and what kind of potential solutions we can come up with, how much they might cost with the various inputs that we would need to get there, and what it would be long-term to maintain it, so that we can find the best solution.
Okay, can we make that a really short timeline?
Yep.
Just because storm season, it's not supposed to be 80, it's supposed to be colder. And if people are volunteering to work in the building, it has to be done weekends and when they're available, and the docs have to come out also, so there's a lot going on. So getting the conversations done and making the decisions as quickly as possible would.
Yeah, and Councilwoman Feldman, I am going to ask you to recuse yourself from these, from the board decisions on this because of your involvement and tie with the Boat and Canoe Club.
And they're also, in addition to, figuring out the aesthetic aspects of it, there are some certain requirements in the agreement itself as to what information has to be provided if members of the club are going to be the ones that are doing the work, including providing permits, providing copies of licenses, and information like that. So we would also want to get the ball moving on getting that type of information as well.
And it's my understanding that
Okay.
you do not need
You don't
to get a
need-
permit to do new siding.
And it's not a plumber or electrician.
we're happy to provide whatever certifications you need,
Okay.
or even if you don't need them.
That would be helpful. All right, so I think what we'll try to do is try to set up a meeting early next week with all of us and sit down around the table and come to some recommendations.
Thank you very
I
much.
can do it faster.
I don't know if I can do it faster than this. My calendar is very booked this week. If we can, we can. And if we can't, we can. We'll do
I
it as
think
fast
we're
as
just
we
sitting
can.
with the building right now. That's probably half done. So we just might.
That is not, unfortunately,
But
the way that we would have liked it to go either.
Maybe not, but it's the reality.
I realize that.
Thank you again for listening to me.
You wanted to show us, or?
Well, these are window dressing. This is the ship's wheel from the Caledonian that was wrecked off of Sparta, and the boat canoe salvaged it and electrified it and put it in the meeting room upstairs, which was unusual at that time. The center bulb there was capable of 100 candle power.
Alrighty.
You've seen our meeting room. That's the unobstructed, there's no columns because of the scissor trusses above, and it makes a nice open space. That's longleaf Georgia pine floor. That's the original one that was put in the early 20s. Again, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
All right. Happy for Susan, you to join us at these meetings as well if you've been involved in this conversation. So. Okie doke.
I thought I got them well.
No, it feels a little. It's just me, probably. Because I've been looking at break for me, maybe.
All right, so we're going to go into our announcements. And, yes, Councilwoman Jeffrey, they are lengthy. So we have an awful lot to talk about. We have work at the intersection of 9A and 134 continuing. Our highway department finished pouring concrete earlier today for our stormwater drain cap, I believe, and the state has continued work with our utility companies. Unfortunately, not everybody works as fast as we would hope that they would. We're hopeful that the work is nearing its end and that Route 134, Croton Dam Road and 9 will be reopened going east, and good as new and even better, hopefully, than we could have anticipated with fixed-up storm drain, culvert, sewer line, and water line. And hopefully all those replacements will benefit all of our community as we move forward. Speaking of utilities, our friends in the Village of Austin want to remind you that yesterday, September 25th, started the biannual 5-week cycle of hydrant flushing throughout the Village of Austin and the unincorporated area, which will take place between the hours of 9 p.m. and 1 a.m. to minimize disruption to residents. When they're flushing in your neighborhood, you may notice some discolored water early in the morning. Don't be alarmed, just run the tap for a few moments. If the discoloration persists, please do call the water department at 941-6111. Briarcliff shared some information on their web last week, which pertains to the road widening project at 9A and North State Road. As was explained to me by the village manager, work could be starting on the northeast corner as early as next week. The way the work is planned, it should not involve any permanent lane closures during the duration of the job, since most of the work is being done outside the current lanes. The Village of Briarcliff is lead agency on this road expansion and has been coordinating with their contractor, New York State DOT, Con Edison, Westchester County DOT, and other involved parties to coordinate logistics. I hope to have more information for you in the near future. Because this project includes major signalization updates and enhancements, it will not be a quick project. The work routine will vary and involve several component stages as it overlaps into other projects. And again, I'm reading Village Manager Zegarelli's words from his update. It'll ultimately connect with these other projects, which include a pickup of the construction at Pleasantville North State Road intersection, which has been nicknamed Barotellis Corners. As you know, this work is a coordinated and funded project of the Village of Briarcliff Manor, the Town of Ossining, Westchester County, New York State Legislature, and New York State DOT. The Village of Briarcliff asks for everyone's patience and cooperation during this next phase. Please anticipate inevitable delays. As a reminder, September 30th is the due date for school taxes. Since the due date falls on a weekend, payments will still be accepted on Monday, October 2nd in the office. In order to accommodate folks who have not yet paid, the town tax office at 16 Croton will be open extended hours on Thursday, September 28th, that's this Thursday, Friday, September 29th, and Monday, October 2nd, where the office will be open from 8 a.m. until 6 p.m. Please visit the tax receivers page on the Town of Ossining website if you need more information. I also want to remind everyone that tomorrow, Wednesday, September 27th, St. Anne's Church will hold a DACA renewal application session between 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. in the church basement on Eastern Avenue. Be sure to bring along your work card and Social Security card, 2 passport-style photos, a $495 money order payable to the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, a copy of your previous DACA application, and all certificates of disposition and/or other immigration documents. If your DACA expires between now and March 5th, 2018, the government must receive your renewal application by October 5th. That's next week, folks. For more information, please text Senor Kelly or Johanna at 914-372-6153. And this is information that was shared with us from Neighbors Link. So this is a legitimate number for you to call, and that's very important that you know that. And if you have any questions whatsoever or not sure when your DACA might expire, please do call that number. That's 914-372-6153 to make sure that you do not miss the deadline, because it's very serious consequences if you do. We are anticipating some great news this week as the National Foundation for Affordable Housing Solutions Incorporated anticipates closing on the Maple House property later this week. The town board will be passing a resolution tonight authorizing me to sign this pilot agreement, and we're very excited to be a part of the preservation of affordable housing for seniors in Ossining. So look for more information on progress in the coming weeks. This Sunday, October 1st, I hope you will join me for Farm Fest 2017 at Fable Foods on Route 134 between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. for some cooking demos, artisanal crafts and food, yoga, a chance to feed the Fable Foods chickens. Is that Fable Foods? Fable Farms? Fable Foods? And more. Visit fablefoods.com/farmfest for more information. And I just want to also add that this, also on Sunday, October 1st, there are youth auditions and stage crew sign-up for the 4th Annual Forest of Fears Haunted Hayride, and that will take place at Cedar Lane Art Center from 6 to 8 p.m. They need to have 2 teams of volunteers this year because we are holding the event for 2 nights on October 27th and October 28th. And I don't know if we have for more information, but you can always get in touch with us at the town, 762-6001, if you would like to get in touch with Fern Quesada, who is leading the charge on what is looking to be a fantastic haunted hayride. So this is what it looks like. What do you think? Can we get that? All right. Thanks, Tom. Okay. Did you know that while 92% of New Yorkers support organ donation, only 30% of New Yorkers are registered? This contributes to a troubling fact. Every 18 hours, a New Yorker dies waiting for a life-saving organ transplant. On Wednesday, October 4th, you have the opportunity to be part of an incredible movement and help to change this troubling statistic. Live On New York is holding its 3rd annual Organ Donor Enrollment Day on October 4th, 2017, and like last year, the town of Ossining is organizing a team, and we're called Team Ossining. In 2016, over 150 New York teams participated, and teams were comprised of hospitals, organizations, colleges, donation advocates, elected officials, and more, all working in their respective areas to run enrollment drives. Over 4,000 enrollments were collected in a single day. This officially broke the record from 2015 when we registered over 3,100 people. Here in Ossining, alongside our partners at Phelps Memorial Hospital, Team Ossining secured 91 enrollments in one day in 2016. This year we want to beat our own record. Registration is easy, free, and only takes a minute. Join us for this life-saving day and help us enroll as many New Yorkers as possible. If you'd like to volunteer that day to help get people enrolled, we have a number of locations that have agreed to support this effort around town, including the Community Center, the CVS Chilmark, the Walgreens, and we're going to be hosting a press conference in front of Town Hall at 10 a.m. on October 4th as well to kick this off. And we're hoping to get a couple of additional spots, and we'll let you know about those in the near future, hopefully before next Wednesday. On Thursday, October 5th, we will hold our first Millwood Ossining Go public forums at Club Fit in Briarcliff. Please join us for the 1 p.m. or 7 p.m. session and weigh in on what you think the best routes to connect downtown Ossining with the North County Trailway would be for bikers and hikers and all sorts of in-betweens. Refreshments and giveaways will be provided by Club Fit Briarcliff to forum participants. For more information and to RSVP, although you don't have to, go to the Town of Ossining homepage and find the MOGO tab. So that's Millwood Ossining Go, MOGO, under projects. If you can't make it on October 5th, we will be at the Ossining Public Library Cafe for another 2 sessions on November 2nd, also at 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. So please join us. We're looking for bikers of all sizes and shapes and ages and stages. What it is that you like to do and what kind of biking you like is going to be really helpful to us, and also if you're looking for ways to get from point A to point B in a more environmentally friendly way, and maybe less expensive as well. On Thursday, October 5th, the Ossining Public Library will host community conversations as part of the Westchester Library Systems program, Criminal Justice Yesterday and Today. Our very own Dana White, village historian, will give some background on the history of Sing Sing, and our friend Sean Pica, executive director of Hudson Link, will join an esteemed panel to discuss the current trends in prison reform and rehabilitation and how Sing Sing itself has impacted the penal system in the U.S. This exciting conversation kicks off at 7 p.m. in the Boudars Theater at the Ossining Public Library. Be sure not to miss it, unless you're going to be at the other event with us talking about bike lanes. Also on Thursday, October 5th, the Ossining Lions Club will host Prohibition in Ossining. What was it like? At their, that's not this Thursday? I thought that was this Thursday. It's this Thursday. So that's Thursday, September 28th. The Ossining Lions Club will host Prohibition in Ossining. What was it like? At their monthly dinner meeting at the Elks Club on 118 Croton Avenue at 7 p.m. Miguel Hernandez, historical raconteur, will share stories about our village when it was known as Rum Row. How many speakeasies were there in the village? How strict were the local police during this period? What was the role of the churches in the village? To get in the spirit of the times, try to evoke the look of the period with maybe a fedora for the guys and a headband with long pearls for the women. It'll put some roar into the evening. The buffet is $25 with a cash bar. Please contact RSVP at OssiningLions.org to reserve a space. The Westchester County Mobile Shredder is coming to the Village of Briarcliff Manor on Saturday, October 7th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at 5 Van Louvan Road past the Youth Center. If you can't make it then, the Shredder will be back at the Joseph Caputo Center in Ossining on October 14th between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. Residents may bring up to 4 file-size, which is 10-inch by 12-inch by 15-inch boxes of confidential papers per household. Please remove all large binder clips and covers. This is for the disposal of personal household papers. All business, institutional, or commercial papers are not acceptable and will be rejected, as will any junk mail, magazines, or newspapers.
Say those dates again. The Briarcliff
So
date is...
Briarcliff is October 7th, and Ossining is October 14th.
Both of them 10 to 1?
They're both at the Community Center and Youth Center, and they're both 10 to 1, correct. Finally, I want to remind everyone that next Tuesday, October 3rd, we will be holding our town hall meeting at the Ossining Public Library beginning at 7:30 p.m. We will start with a special meeting to reopen the public hearing on our zoning law, and barring any major issues, we're hoping to adopt the zoning law that very night and end the moratorium in the unincorporated area. We also hope to make a presentation about the garbage RFP and get some feedback from our residents about what they would like to see included in the proposal. However, we expect to have some extra time at the end And these are your meetings, folks. So if you have any other topics that you wish to address with the town board, we hope to have some time at the end to listen to you. As a reminder, we must be out of the library by 9:15 p.m., so if we are not able to hear everyone who attends, we will have paper and pens to collect questions, and we'll plan to follow up with you shortly thereafter. And that is it for my very lengthy announcements.
Yeah, I have one.
Okay, go ahead.
This Sunday, October 1st, at St. Anne's Church in the gymnasium, there will be a fundraiser for Mexico and Puerto Rico that is going to be held. It will be held from 12 o'clock till 6 o'clock. They will have food. They will have desserts. They will have raffles. There will be music. But this is all for people to be able to come and buy food and or donate. That all the money and the proceeds are going to be split equally for each country, and the church is going to find their list of reputable organizations that they can give the money to. And so if you have a chance, please go by. If you can't stay, go buy some food and take it with you. If, you know, buy a raffle ticket, just contribute in some way. Because these countries and our island, and by the way, let's just be clear that Puerto Rico is an American territory with American residents, because this has been a very big conversation. They are citizens, but it doesn't matter. Mexico has gone through a tragedy. They have lost many people, and so they all could use help. This Sunday.
Yeah.
This Sunday, October 1st, 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock, St. Anne's Gym.
Are they cash donations?
Yes.
Okay, so you don't want, people don't want to bring clothing? Or
No, if
water
you
or-
want
okay.
to, no. I think there was already a big day that they did a whole thing for Mexico in terms of supplies.
Mm-hmm.
They may be doing another one. I'm not sure right now offhand about that. In terms of supplies for Puerto Rico, you can donate supplies to some of the local businesses. Hot Society, which is on Main Street, Microscope Music School, which is on Croton Avenue, the American Legion Post 506, which is on South Highland. All of those are taking supplies. Please note, really what they need more than anything is water, flashlights, baby wipes or diapers, and personal hygiene items. Clothes are really not the thing that they need right now, so we can kind of limit to those things, I think. So that's for Puerto Rico.
People are donating water? Is that?
Yeah.
And batteries?
And batteries. Well, flashlights with batteries. Or portable lanterns. So, Sunday.
That's Sunday. St. Anne's is Sunday?
St. Anne's is Sunday.
Okay. And just say the times one more time.
12 o'clock to 6 o'clock
Okay.
at the St. Anne's Gym.
Thank you.
Any other announcements? Okay, not seeing anyone. We'll move on to liaison reports. Do we have any departmental reports?
Don't think so. No? None? Okay.
Public comments on agenda items? No, not seeing anyone. We'll go into board resolutions. Resolve the town board of the town of Ossining hereby approves the September 12th, 2017 minutes of the regular meeting as presented.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I
Thank you.
I was sick one meeting, and I don't know if you were sick. That is the one you weren't at, you're right. You weren't
Okay.
there. So do we have enough people? Yes.
Councilmember Kim Jeffries was absent.
So you would like to abstain? You don't have to abstain just because you're absent. You can.
She can't
You
prove
may.
if she wasn't here.
Yeah, as long,
Well, unless she watched the video and then read the minutes, I
Yeah.
mean, she can't really.
Okay.
I'm going to abstain.
Okay. So Did I call
had
for
a
vote?
motion.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
An abstention. Councilwoman Jeffrey.
Resolved, the town board of the town of Ossining hereby approves the voucher detail report dated September 26, 2017, in the amount of $551,166 and a penny.
Have a motion.
So moved.
A few bills of note this time around. There's a bill, one of the water bills from our spray park for $16,000. We're anticipating a second for the other dial of a similar amount,
There were two in this one.
as well as, there were two. I thought there were two also.
I saw two.
Yeah. As well as a medical bill for October 2017, the September IMA for the Village of Ossining, and our fourth quarter workers' compensation bill. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay.
Resolved, the town board of the town of Ossining hereby accepts with regret the resignation in anticipation of retirement of chauffeur Denise Averdek in the senior nutrition program effective September 27, 2017.
Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
So I have to say we're very excited for Denise to begin her well-earned retirement after more than 16 years with the town. Denise is beloved by all of the seniors, and I know all of her coworkers in the nutrition program are very sad to see her go. We wish her and her family the very, very best. Any questions? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Whereas the property known as Maple House located at 15 Maple Place in the village and town of Ossining was granted a payment in lieu of taxes, and whereas the National Foundation for Affordable Housing Solutions is under a certain purchase and sale agreement to acquire the property, and whereas the foundation intends to make a long-term commitment to the property and to the community, including the restoration of all units and exterior and interior common spaces, and most importantly, long-term affordability at the same AMI level as is currently served by Maple House. And whereas in order to facilitate these long-term plans, including obtaining the necessary financing, the foundation has made a request to enter into a pilot agreement, and whereas the town of Ossining has administered this and all other pilots in Ossining and is one of 4 local taxing entities that must approve any such extension or change in terms of the pilot, with such entities also including the Village of Ossining, Ossining Union Free School District, and the Ossining Public Library. And whereas the parties have negotiated an agreement that will include, but are not limited to, annual payments to the town, village, school, and library based on whichever is higher. 1. A base rate of $52,600 to be appropriately split across all named entities with a 1.5% growth factor to be applied each calendar year, or 2, a payment representing 10% of the shelter rent as defined in the agreement for the year prior. Therefore, be it resolved that the town supervisor is hereby authorized to sign the pilot agreement as negotiated in its current form with the National Foundation for Affordable Housing Solutions for Maple House, and be it further resolved the town supervisor is authorized to execute any documents consistent with this resolution to give effect to this resolution.
Do you have a motion?
Second.
So I hope I speak for the entire board today when I say how excited I am to adopt this resolution tonight. We've been working with the foundation for almost a year to work on a payment in lieu of taxes agreement that benefits not just the foundation, but also all of the taxing jurisdictions that are affected by the continuation of the pilot. I want to thank Rich Charlton and his team for working with us to put this together. And there are additional impact payments that are being made to the library, the school district, the village, and the town, as well as some internship program that's available, that's being offered through the national standard, and they've been working closely with all the parties to come up with something that was really amicable, and that also has an increase built in on annually. So that's something that's new, and we hope that it will again benefit all of us for to be able to keep up with.
What's that? AMI.
AMI is
Area median income.
Area median.
Median income.
Area median.
So I think
Based
that's,
on,
however, what it's Westchester's area median income,
Oh,
which isn't really realistic for Ossining, but it's what we have to use anyway.
okay.
so anyway, all those in favor?
Aye.
With enthusiasm, I hope. Opposed? Thank you.
Be it resolved that upon the recommendation of the town supervisor, the town board hereby terminates the employment of Alan Gantz from his position as part-time court attendant pursuant to Section 73 of the Civil Service Law effective September 27, 2017.
Do I have a motion?
Second.
So this is a tough resolution, as Mr. Gantz has worked for the town for more than 30 years. Although this is technically called a termination, Mr. Gantz is leaving the town amicably, and we hope to perhaps see him return someday soon. In the meanwhile, he will still be serving as a constable for us, as well as for the village, so expect to see him around town soon. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
We have no correspondence to be received and filed. We do have a monthly report resolved that the town board of the town of Ossining hereby accepts the following monthly report for the month of August 2017 from Dale Cemetery.
Do I have a motion?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much to our superintendent of Dale Cemetery, who's in the audience, Pete Connolly, who is always very diligent in getting us very thorough monthly report. Thank you, Pete.